Hi, my name is Sandy Casella. I'm with Casella Homes Real Estate, and today I'm talking to Caleb Overbeek. And this conversation is going to be a little bit different than normal. Some of the conversations that I've had, because normally I talk to a lot of people about buying and selling real estate, typically adults and typically people who are a lot older and planning their financial future. But today I'm sitting down with someone who's only 16 years old, and I think this is fantastic. He already has a goal that many adults haven't even considered at this point. So I think this will be a really interesting conversation. And thanks so much, Caleb, for agreeing to do this with me.
No problem. Anytime.
Amazing. So just before we even get into talking about houses, what I want to say is it's a skill just being able to talk to adults. That's a huge skill. And being able to go on video and talk. Most people don't want to be on video. Well, I guess in your age group, it's a little bit different because people are a little bit more used to being on video, but having conversations with adults is not some people's strong suit. So that in itself is a huge accomplishment. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's get into some questions. So I want to talk about your goal and kind of what you're hoping to do. And you are 16, correct? Am I right?
Yep, that's right. Yep,
Okay, that's amazing. And you're already thinking about buying a house.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So most people, like most kids your age, are kind of thinking about girls or buying a phone or, things like that. So what makes you tell me where this idea came from and what got you going down this path?
For the most part, just planning my future out and wanting to get ahead of the game early, trying to just be successful and then figure out on girls and phones and all that, if you know what I mean.
You got it right. That's exactly how you should be doing it. Amazing. Good for
Yeah.
you. So tell me, when do you think was the moment when you first started thinking about the fact that you wanted to buy a house?
I would say about when I was 15 or so. Me and my brother and one of my uncles, we bought a house, renovated it, and then sold it for profit. So that's what kind of got me going on this. And just recently, my brother bought a house. So
Yeah.
I kind of got the idea of getting into real estate. And of course, my dad is into real estate too. So, I mean, even that factor helping me out along the way. And just, yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I think the fact that you did that, of having that experience of buying a house and renovating it and flipping it, you can see what kind of goes into it, right? Because it's not it, it's really is just a process. And if you have a plan, I think you can hit that plan, right? So did that kind of become kind of clear to you when you did that?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Yeah. And I know your dad, obviously he's a friend of mine. And how has that played into the fact that do you feel like you understand real estate because you've heard your dad talking about it? Like your parents, obviously, I think from talking to your brother, I learned that they have always been big proponents of doing this. So how does all that kind of fit into it?
Well, my dad definitely helps me along the way. Like even now I'm looking for houses that I could potentially, buy in my dad's name or something, reno it and whatnot. And I always show him like, hey, is this a good deal? Does it make sense to put this much money into it or not? And he helps me along the way with that in that sense. Um, and even growing up at a young stage, driving with my dad and he's on these phone calls and whatnot, and he's saying all these big words about real estate. And I'm like, hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? And he's all explaining it to me and whatnot. So that definitely helped me along the way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you know what? A lot of realtors have kids and they hear the same conversations, but they don't take it any farther. So give yourself credit for that, for doing that, because it is, it's a skill, right? So with your and you know what, that's how my daughter started working with me. She's not a realtor, but she does our back end stuff and loves stats and everything. And she heard me talking to a client one day about some stats. And when I got off the phone, her eyes were like this big, and she was like, "Oh my God, it's so fascinating!" Right? So there's a lot of different ways to get involved in real estate. You know, at whether that's investing in it or whether that's selling real estate or buying it, whatever. So good for you for taking that on and asking those questions, because if you're learning that stuff now, it becomes a lot clearer to you, when you go to buy, right? I used
Oh,
to learn how
100%.
to really price houses. My son works with me as well. What we would do is go and look at all the houses, and then we would say, okay, I think this is what they're going to sell for. And then we'd go back and see what they sold for. And we got really good at pricing houses. So a lot of that's really important. So if you're doing that now, that's awesome. Where do you look typically? Are you like you go on kind of like websites and look at different houses that are for sale?
Usually I'm just scrolling around on either Facebook Marketplace, sometimes, rarely though. My main one is realtor.ca. I use
Yeah,
that quite a bit.
amazing. So what do your friends think about the fact that you want to buy a house? Do you talk about this with your friends?
Not really. For some people I do, but
Yeah,
in their eyes it's kind of like, yeah, that's his goal, that's him. That's not really about me
yeah.
in their
Okay.
in their eyes.
Yeah. And so now if everything goes according to plan for you, when would you buy your first house?
I my goal is to buy my first house at 18, but if I don't, then 18, 19, before 20.
Okay. Good. Well, that's a good goal. What do you think that you understand, let's say, about money that you think maybe some adults still don't understand?
Ooh, using it properly and actually budgeting, I think. I find with some people that they spend money too quickly or on the wrong things. With me personally, I'm pretty tight, I'd say, about my money and just putting it into the right things.
That's a good plan. That's very true. Well, how do you feel about um what do you feel like about goals? Because I know for most people, like if you have a goal and you know where you're going, you can get to that goal. That's a universal law. You will get to that goal. So the fact that your goal is to buy a house, do you think that gives you kind of that north star that you're going towards? So when you get money, when you get paid, you work. I know you work a lot because it took us a while to get you
Yeah.
scheduled here because of your work schedule. Does that help you make decisions when there's other temptations that come up?
Oh, 100%. If I want to go out and eat and I want to spend this much or do this with my friends, I'm always wondering beforehand, like, if I spend $100 this night and I do this every week, then like, how will I ever be able to afford a mortgage or down payment or anything in
Yeah,
general?
that's pretty good. What do you think the biggest mistake is that maybe young people your age make when it comes to money?
In our community, the biggest mistake for probably spending like over 20,000 on a your first car. Because I know a lot of people that have spent like 25, 30 grand. And don't get me wrong, they're really nice cars, trucks, whatever. But my dad always says, yeah, you're an inexperienced driver, right? So the chances of you getting into a car accident and that 30 grand being gone is pretty high.
Hmm. And the insurance cost for
Yeah.
young
And
people is pretty high, right? Insurance, gas, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
um, yeah. Now, so I'm going to ask you a little bit about pricing and houses. So I'm assuming, like from your conversation or from what you said earlier about asking your dad questions about houses, that you understand a little bit about the pricing. And I know a lot of people right now say that the price of houses is too high or they're too expensive. What's your thought on the price of a house? What are you looking at in terms of not what point you would buy in, but how do you look at that if you hear people saying that?
In my opinion, when people say prices are too high and stuff, most of the time I believe it, and they're more experienced than me in buying houses with like adults, especially and whatnot. Um, I just look at it as motivation to either work harder, get more hours, you know what I mean, budget more, and then just overall be more successful to be able to afford those houses because people are paying for them, and there's a reason they're so high.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you, in your opinion, what do you think that reason is?
Um, Inflation, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
I
inflation's
don't.
one.
Yeah.
It's also like you're right about it. I think the pricing is because you have to, everybody has to live somewhere, right? So I think it's really good that you're thinking along the lines of what you're thinking of, because that's what keeps the price of real estate high, and that's what keeps the prices always going up over time. They do dip, obviously, like they are now. However, you have to live somewhere. So the fact that you live in a, everybody's going to live in a house at some point or live somewhere, it keeps the price high because it's a commodity that's well, I wouldn't call it a commodity. It's needed. So that tends to keep the value, and the land as well, right? Because you can't make more land. You can just expand, and then so things become more expensive. But I think it's a good way to look at it, that, you understand that this is the first stepping stone, and then you can build everything off of that. That's an important way to, that's a really good way to think.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. What do you think that what do you think about what you're taught in, let's say, in school? Like, how much of what you know right now about this is taught in school? And is there something you think should be maybe taught in school?
Funny thing, actually, my dad came to school for a period and talked about investing and budgeting and how to buy your first home. So I think that really helped some kids because I was talking to my friends after and they're like, hey, he's actually right. And you know what? Like, it makes sense. But for the most part, like the things that they do teach in school about money and mortgages and whatnot could be, what's the word I'm looking for? Could be like a little bit more. Uh,
Expanded?
yes, yes.
Okay. Do you
They
learn
don't
about mortgages in school? Do you learn about that type of, like,
a,
uh,
a
do
little
you,
bit in some courses.
okay, depends what course you take. What you're
Yeah,
16, so what grade are you in? 10, 11?
grade 11.
11. Okay. So I guess if you
Yeah,
take, I mean, if you took a business course or you took some courses like that, you would learn
yeah,
some of, yeah.
yeah.
So
For the most part, yeah.
do you think that if kids were taught at an earlier age, maybe like even in elementary school, some basic, I mean, you're not going to start talking to 10-year-olds about a mortgage because their eyes are going to roll back in their heads. But what
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things do you think could be maybe taught at a little bit earlier age that people could understand a little bit more?
I would say, like, look, this is the situation you're in. This is your future, and this is what you're going into. So this is what you have to prepare for. I think that's probably one of the few things that a 10-year-old would understand about buying real estate.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Tell me a little bit about your goal in terms of what type of how, like, are you looking to buy something to rent out? Are you looking to buy something? What do you think your first house would look like? Would it be something you would flip? Or would it be something you would just hold on to and maybe rent out or live in?
My first house typically would probably on the lower end of either 600,000 or 500,000, somewhere around there. I could easily renovate that, make it look nice, possibly throw some renters in there to help pay off my mortgage. And maybe eventually, when I'm ready to move out, then I can move in there.
Hmm.
Or I could then sell the house or keep it for the rent money. It all really depends where I'm at when I do buy the house and what I
Yeah.
plan on doing.
Okay. Do you have an air, like, do you want to stay kind of in the same area where you currently live? If
Yeah, somewhere close around here. That way, if I am doing renovations, I can just go after work or after school or whenever I have free time. Spend a
possible.
couple hours at the house. Probably typically in like Woodstock, Tillsonburg, somewhere close to home.
Okay. And do you have a plan? What's your long-term plan for real estate? Do you hope to keep investing in real estate, or are you thinking, let me just do this first and then I'll figure it out after that?
Um, I have thought about this. I After I do buy my first house, I want to see where I'm at, obviously, and if I do have the resources to buy another house, then I probably would. And if I have extra time, I could keep buying houses and either flipping them or putting renters in. obviously taking the equity out of them to buy more.
Hmm.
I could do that, but yeah, again, I just got to see where I'm at when I'm at
Yeah.
that stage.
Where have you learned most of what you talk about with investing or flipping, or where have you learned most of this?
Most of it comes from my dad, actually, or just asking around with teachers talking about it and whatnot, and
Hmm.
they kind of explain it a little bit to me, but most of
Yeah.
it from my dad.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you ever go online and like kind of like look up investing? I'm just curious, like kind of where you get some of your information from. Mostly
Yeah,
from hearing your dad.
mostly from hearing other people and my dad. I do kind of look into it a little bit, budgeting and saying like, hey, if I buy this house for this much, and you know, looking up mortgage rates and whatnot,
Hmm.
and how much a down payment would be and whatnot.
Yeah. And what do you do? So now you're in school, you're in grade 11 and you work as well, right? And you
I
work
do,
quite a
I
bit,
do.
right? Like you're a pretty busy guy, sounds like.
Yeah, I try to get as much hours as I can. Last night I think I got done work at 10:30. Today I actually had to take off work. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday all day.
Yeah. Wow. What do you are you helping your brother at all? Have you been watching like his journey with this house that he bought and learning a little bit from there?
Yeah, so I've been helping him renovate here and there.
Yeah.
Whenever he needs a hand, he just calls me, and I try and make as much time as I can for him and help him out with his house. He plans on getting renters in there soon, so
What's your favorite part about renovating a house? What parts of it do you like doing?
definitely seeing the final product.
Hmm.
Getting all the work done and just finally seeing it all come together in one
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What about the actual work? Like what part of the actual work do you like doing? Like do you like doing plumbing or electrical or like well you probably don't do that because you need licenses,
No,
but like drywall, framing, different things like that.
yeah, I would probably say framing. I worked in framing for a year, and that just seems to suit me. You know, um, I actually helped my other uncle renovate his house, and he wanted to put a couple of new walls in. So yeah, framing that and putting the drywall on
Yeah.
was definitely the best part. Yeah.
It's pretty cool, to see a house go from, if you're opening everything up and how you can make it bigger or make the flow better or whatever, right? I think it's pretty interesting to see how that all works and when you change things in a house, how much better it becomes. Like you can pretty much do anything. I mean, they all cost money, but it's a lot of different things that you can do.
Oh yeah, for sure. The limits are endless.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about like kind of your journey of buying a house and how you hope that goes. I know you talked about, buy this first one and then move on from there. What what do you think what would you tell other kids your age that don't think that something like this is possible or who want to get into doing something like this for you or with you?
I think anything is possible if you just put your mind to it and just get it done. Like even now at my age and my friends, we're only 16 years old. You have a little bit of money saved up and you still have 2 years, and a year and a half, you'll be out of school and you can work full time. So if you just use your time wisely and use the resources that you have, you can definitely make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a great way to think that mindset's going to take you far in life. What's the one thing that you maybe feel like you need to know a little bit more about? Like something that you're like, oh, I could use a little bit of help learning about this stuff. Is there anything? Do you feel like you have a really good handle on this at this point?
One thing I could definitely work on is like building codes and all that sort of stuff. Like if I do renovate a house, then I do need to know like, is this up to code? Will this work? Will I get? Do I need permits for this or not? Like if I do add another bedroom, what does it need? We do learn a little bit about that in school, but just not as much as I'd like to know.
Yeah, and that's understandable. You're going to learn the basics in school, and you can dig deeper into it a little bit. as you go along, right? And what other things that you need to know. But does the thought of renting it, what are your thoughts about renting the property out? How do you feel about doing that?
If I did rent my own property out, I would almost look at it as a short term plan, trying to find good renters in there for only 2 or 3 years or possibly longer, see where I'm at. Um, but that's basically it.
Yeah. So it doesn't scare you to rent it out.
No,
The thought is
no.
okay. Okay. So do you have, I want to know if you have a picture in your mind of what your first house will look like right now. Like not necessarily like just in your yeah, just do you have a picture in your mind of what your first house would look like? You don't have to explain it to me, but I'm just curious.
I do. Yeah, I do.
What kind of houses do you like? Do you like bungalows? Do you like two-story? What are you more drawn to?
No, I would definitely go with the bungalow.
Yeah.
Bungalow, the 2 story. I don't know. Bungalow with the basement. 2 stories. I think that's good enough.
Yeah. Amazing. So what would you do to like are you hoping to get something that needs a lot of work? Like it sounds like you have some people to tap into that can help you do the work. So that would obviously help you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think renovating is probably the best strategy in my opinion. Like at my day and age, I don't think I'll be able to afford the housing market that's up in the 800,000, 900,000 range. So definitely renovating a house and putting money into it to appreciate the value just really makes the most sense in my situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what else would you like to share? Is there anything you'd like to share? Any questions you have that you think about with real estate or something you want to share about what you want to do?
No, no, not right now. Not off the top of my head, I don't.
Sounds like you got most of it figured out. Like you have a pretty good idea of where you want to go with this.
For the most part, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. And so you said you're hoping by 18, 20 at the latest to buy your first house.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
And where are you hoping to like once you do that, I know we talked a little bit about this, but what's your long-term plan? Like do you have would you like to maybe do that as a living, like invest in real estate or flip houses, or what do you want to do for a living? Do you have an idea?
Possibly,
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah, I have thought about this, There are people that I know that have done this. But if my first one goes well and I get into it, I think either on the side I could buy houses, renovate them, fix them up, and then sell them again or throw renters in there. But as a living, I don't think it would be for me, just kind of on the side.
Okay. What are you hoping to do? What would you do as a
I probably want to get into some form of construction, either
okay.
framing or concrete excavation, something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds good. I had a question in my head and now I've lost it. It'll come back to me. So I think it's a really good plan that you have. I think that most people can do what you want to do. And you clearly are going to do this because it's, something that you want to do and you have the right attitude towards doing it. Um, and I think buying real estate to me is I think super important. I think everybody should buy real estate. I love when young people buy real estate because I think it sets a lot of people up for just, there's so many good things that come from it. It's not just the house and like what it can give you, but it's having to do the budgeting, having to do the, setting those goals to be able to save enough money to do it. All that kind of stuff is no matter what happens to you in the future, those are really great skills to have. So I think that's wonderful.
Thank you. No, you're 100% right, though.
Yeah, I want once you buy your first house, I want to chat again because I'm sure you're going to do it sooner rather than later for sure.
Sounds good. I'll have to let you know.
Yeah. So what do you do now? Where do you work now?
I'm working for my uncle at Floral Express just down the road,
Yeah.
helping him with loading trucks and just a few odd jobs around there. I'm mostly part of the logistics team and, doing maintenance on the trucks and whatnot along those
Amazing.
lines.
Yeah. So you're busy. Keeps you busy, eh?
Oh,
What do you feel
100%.
like you miss out on? Do you feel like you miss out on anything, or is work fun so you don't really feel like you're missing out?
No, I don't think so because the people there are great. Like I work with some of my buddies and
Mm,
just always a good time, you know?
yeah. Do you play sports?
I do. I do. I'm actually playing hockey tonight.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're busy, eh?
I am.
That's
Yeah.
the best way to keep, that's the best way to have a good relationship with your parents if you never see them. Works really well. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. I don't know your mom, but I know your dad. Your dad's a great guy, so
Oh,
I'm sure you
perfect.
guys like spending time together. So it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to like hear about your journey and what you do here and see how everything goes. I think, watching your brother too will be a good, good learning experience, right? To see how this all works and you have a great future ahead of you.
No, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for doing this. Like I said at the beginning, it's a skill to just be able to do this and articulate what you're saying. So that in itself will take you far.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you say.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you doing this. You have a great night. And yeah, I'll be following your journey for sure.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Amazing. Okay, Caleb, take it easy.
You too, eh? Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Thanks.